welcome to episode 106 of Pib's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivets. So this week's episode of NXT was the go-home show to NXT TakeOver Orlando. It's weird that they're calling it Orlando, because all the other takeovers that take place outside of the Full Sail Arena, TakeOver Brooklyn, Dallas, Toronto, all that, they have their city name. The ones at Full Sail usually have some sort of subheading, like TakeOver The End, or Unstoppable, or whatever the case is. But the fact that WrestleMania is in Orlando, they're calling it TakeOver Orlando. I don't know, I think they just could have came up with some sort of, like, subheading for this takeover, made it feel a little more special. Anyway, this show featured Kassius, Ohno, and Elias Samson in a Loser Leaves NXT match, and a contract signing between Asuka and Ember Moon. Realistically, though, why wouldn't the contract be signed before they started promoting this match? What if one of the competitors backed out 3 days before the event? Again, it's WWE, all logic gets thrown out the window, but you would think that the contract signing is first, and then they start building towards the match, not the other way around. The show kicked off with a triple threat match featuring one member of each team in the triple threat tag team match, Johnny Gargano, Akam, and Dash Wilder. Gargano and Wilder teamed up a little bit as they went after Akam. Dash held the rope open for Gargano to do his dive to the outside. As Gargano was running, Dash went to go after him, but Gargano expected that, and he caught his leg. Dawson pulled Dash out of the way of Akam, and the two rested on the outside as Gargano and Akam went at it. Johnny Gargano hit Akam with a spear through the ropes for a near fall. He then hit 3 super kicks, and Razor pulled Gargano off Akam to break up the pin. Tommaso Ciampa, who was also at ringside, attacked Razor, threw him into the steps. Akam landed a huge powerbomb. Dawson held Akam against the ropes as Dash snuck in and got the win. First part of the match, a little boring. It was more of a singles match between Akam and Gargano as Dash Wilder was on the outside. I do like the finish, though, as the Revival could continue to do whatever they can to win. Gargano looked good in defeat. He was putting up a fight against Akam, landing multiple super kicks, taking the power bombs and his other moves. But as far as the triple threat tag team match, I am looking forward to that a lot. It is an elimination, but I'll get to my predictions a little later to let you know how I think that's going to go. We got another vignette for Heavy Machinery before their debut after this. We also got a little video package between Aleister Black and Andrade Cien Almas. Second match, Heavy Machinery against two jobbers who I did not care to get their names. Heavy Machinery remind me a lot of natural disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon. They were tossing people back and forth, stomping around a lot, landing a lot of big guy moves, splashes, that kind of thing. Heavy Machinery hit one guy with a double shoulder tackle and 2 falling headbutts. Otis landed a running splash and an overhead belly-to-belly. After another running sandwich, Otis actually picked Tucker up and slammed him onto his opponent for an assisted senton to get the win. Despite some of the repetitiveness in some of their moves and just one dimension in their moveset, I actually liked it a lot. The finisher was actually pretty cool, seeing Otis pick up Tucker Knight. It was pretty impressive. Tucker was moving around great in the ring. He's a great athlete. He was very nimble, running the ropes. Otis was just this big boulder who you cannot move at all. And I think that dynamic, even though they're two big guys, seeing Tucker move around like that, kind of like a cruiserweight, and then Otis just being the immovable object, I think they'll fare well in the NXT tag team division. They got a long ways to go, though, but with the expected call-up of DIY and maybe even the Revival, they're going to need another tag team in that division. It was then time for the contract signing for the NXT Women's Championship. Asuka laughed as William Regal called Ember Moon her challenger. Ember said that Asuka's changed and let success get to her head, and she said her fate was to dethrone Asuka. Asuka said that Ember knows who she is, or she knows who Ember is, and she knows that she's not ready before signing the contract and walking away laughing. William Regal then wished Ember Moon luck. Simple but effective. We know where each woman stands as far as their moral compass. Asuka is just going to beat the crap out of anyone that comes in her path. Ember Moon is she's going to do the same, but she's going to do it in a more respectable way. And Asuka's been towing that line between heel and babyface for a long time, so it depends on how they're going to play this matchup, but NXT does contract signings a lot better than WWE on the main roster. I think I've said that before as well. They don't go to the same formula when they're doing the contracts. This one was in a backstage segment. Some of the other ones that take place in the ring, there's either no contact, like between, I think, Bobby Roode and Nakamura. They didn't really go at it. But then you also have the contract signings between, like, Bayley and Nia Jax or Sasha and Nia Jax. That they brawl before the match starts. We then get another video package highlighting Bobby Roode's win and building up to the NXT title match. Paul Ellering was standing between the Authors of Pain as he cut a promo on two of the challenging tag teams. It is official. There will be an 8-person tag team match between Sanity and Dillinger, Jose, Strong, and the new woman, Ruby Riott. I honestly feel so bad for Roderick Strong. He could have did so much better if they knew what to do with him, or if he stayed in Ring of Honor. Feels like the main event scene is just a little too crowded, even though it's only 2 or 3 people, and they really don't know what to do with him. The crowd's not behind him much. They haven't given him much promo time. He had the one debut match, and then he's been lumped with Dillinger in this feud ever since. So he needs to break out on his own after the takeover and develop his own identity and get the crowd behind him. After all that, it was time for the main event, Kassius Ohno versus Elias Samson. They locked up a little bit, a couple near falls. Ohno hit a senton and a sliding drop kick to the outside. They were both on the apron when Samson shoved Ohno into the steel post, and then Ohno ended up falling on the steel steps. Samson took control after that. Ohno countered a chop with a huge forearm smash. They went back and forth with strikes, with Ohno getting the better of Samson there. He landed a jumping knee strike and a nice spin boot. Samson hit his swinging neck breaker for another near fall. Ohno caught him with a rolling elbow and got the win. It was actually a good match. I liked it a lot. There were a lot of good spots, but I didn't think most of the near falls were believable, especially from Elias Samson's side. Kassius Ohno just got back to NXT. I don't think he was going anywhere anytime soon. And I don't think anyone thought, in the crowd at least, that Samson was going to win. And this did feel weird being the final segment of the TakeOver Go Home show. Neither man is on the card, especially Kassius Ohno, which is surprising. So they kind of just had this match. Elias Samson's gone from NXT. And I really wish Corey Graves was on commentary just to hear what he would have said when Elias Samson was leaving. Character-wise, he hated Elias Samson. He trashed him every time he came out. So it would have been nice to hear that nostalgia one more time. Security was brought out to carry Samson out of the building. Samson wanted his guitar, but Ohno stepped on it and destroyed it. Unfortunately, this wasn't as good as when Bo Dallas left NXT. That was purely amazing. I actually watched that on YouTube the other day. When he was leaving, the crowd was chanting at him. They were chanting, Bo leave, because at the time, his gimmick, Bo leave. He said that he didn't like the crowd and that they stink, and he actually began running around the Full Sail campus away from security. If it's on the WWE Network, go ahead and watch that, because it's Bo Dallas at his best. As far as Elias Samson, I like the idea of his gimmick. He's got a good look body-wise. I just don't think the two meshed with the guitar playing, or lack thereof, and his poor singing. I wonder if they're going to repackage him or not. Something else, like how they did from Leo Kruger to Adam Rose. I did hear a report that he's main roster bound, which is very surprising. He's going to get a lot of go-away heat on the main roster as well, or maybe no reaction at all. But that was the main event. So TakeOver takes place tomorrow, April 1st, and we have, I believe, 5 matches on the card right now. So I'm going to go over my predictions from the bottom of the card to the main event. I think it's time Ty Dillinger and company defeat Sanity. They need a big win after all the brawls and beat downs and all that jazz. And with the new diva, or woman, Ruby Riott, they're going to get the big win. Aleister Black against Andrade Cien Almas. Aleister wins in his debut. It should be a good match. Andrade Cien Almas has really good matches with the new guys. I just wish they would stick with him as a upper card heel. He's definitely got the charisma for it, but they're going to have him lose to Aleister Black. Makes sense, but I wish I had someone else in this spot. This one, the women's match, it could go either way, with reports saying that Asuka will stay on the main roster for a little while. She could easily win, but I don't think there's another challenger for her after Ember Moon, which is why I'm going to go with Ember Moon. She's going to win. She's going to be the one to end Asuka's winning streak, and I think having her in chase mode, maybe go full-fledged heel, attack Ember Moon after the match, whatever the case, having Ember Moon as a champion with a heel Asuka chasing her for the title should be very interesting. Next up would be the Triple Threat Tag Team title match. This one could go a lot, obviously 3 different ways. You could have Authors of Pain lose right out of the gate, making the swerve there with a new champion. You could have the Revival lose with DIY, possibly getting the championship back. I'm going to go that route. Revival lose first. They're going to be main roster bound soon. And then the Authors of Pain retain their tag titles over a DIY. I think it's just a little too soon to take the titles off of them. And with everything else I said, DIY fighting from underneath, having the crowd behind him, trying to defeat Authors of Pain. I just don't think it's going to happen. Authors of Pain, still your tag team champions. And Bobby Roode against Shinsuke Nakamura. Same with the Authors of Pain. I think it's too soon to take the title off Bobby Roode, and I don't see Nakamura being a 3-time champ. He's going to put over Roode and hopefully debut the night after WrestleMania. That's probably my bold prediction, but I think Bobby Roode and Nakamura have a great match, with Bobby Roode retaining after everything is said and done. All right, guys, let me know what you think of the show, my predictions, what you predict for NXT TakeOver. I'll be back hopefully Sunday before WrestleMania with my recap and review of TakeOver Orlando. If not, I'll lump it in with my episode on next Thursday. All right, guys, follow me on Twitter at bpiv_sports. Like, comment, subscribe to the show on YouTube. Do all that fun stuff. And I'll catch you back next time. Peace.